illustrations and adverts to persuade the reader to do something. We also wrote letters to Mr. Brown saying why all children should have a 15-minute break in the afternoon. We wrote letters to our parents in the hope that they will book a holiday to Egypt. This is my brochure I've done about Egypt. I hope you like it. Being the oldest but last of the 7 wonders of the world, the pyramids of Giza are older than any others. Many of the pyramids, there are over 18, have mummified pharaohs inside.
Also, in English, we follow the daring, dangerous and devilish highwayman on his journey to cause destruction all around him, just so he could be the most powerful man in the kingdom. We wrote our poems about the separatists and their long, tiring and risky journey from Gainsborough in search of religious freedom from the evil king, King James I, over 400 years ago. This is my poem I wrote about those brave men and women. I hope you enjoy it. The separatists, heroic, courageous and fearless, strolling carefully towards Boston, ambition, desire and daydreaming. The day was here, the time was here, the moment was here, the rickety tough ship was in sight.
In maths, we've been learning all about multiplication and division since Christmas. We now know how to multiply a 4-digit number by a 2-digit number, as well as dividing 4-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. We showed lots of Brazilians during this because it was quite difficult. I will now show you an example of what we did in class. See if you could do this as well.
Also in maths, we have been learning about the perimeter and area of shapes. We looked at lots of compound shapes, which were quite difficult to work out, but we did lots of work together to work out the correct answer. I will now talk you through a question I did in class. See if you can work out the length of the missing side of this shape. So, we know one side is 11 centimetres and another side is 8 centimetres. So 11 centimetres take away 8 centimetres would be 3 centimetres. And also, one side is 7 centimetres and another side is 2 centimetres. So 7 centimetres take away 2 centimetres would be 5 centimetres.
In science, you have learned all about the forces that act on us as humans every day. We have been looking at the effects of gravity and air resistance. With gravity acting as a downward force and air resistance stopping us from travelling too fast if we were on a bike ride. We also looked at another force called thrust, which is good for launching rockets like this one.
In art, we practice drawing 1 and 2 point perspectives with horizontal lines and vanishing points. On this drawing, where do you think the vanishing points are? There they are. You can see the building getting further away on this page. We also visited the Old Hall in October, which is a fantastic building for perspective drawing.
Also in art, we've been learning about post-impressionism painting. By that painter with one ear, yes, Vincent van Gogh. We've been researching about his life and practicing his techniques through line, colour and emotion. We mixed colours for our own section of the Starry Night and practiced his famous swirls for the backgrounds. We finished our final piece of work this week. Can you tell where this piece is?
In PE, we have been doing lots of gymnastics over the last few weeks. We have learnt to do forwards and backwards rolls, cartwheel and travelling like gymnasts on the floor. We have also been using equipment to do jumps that a gymnast might do. I hope like my technique.
Also in PE, we have been practicing
hockey techniques and playing in a lot of tournaments with each other. We are all very competitive. The first thing we learned to do was hold a hockey stick and travel with a ball. You put your left hand at the top and your right hand at the bottom. Then you put it halfway down. Then you travel with the ball, but not too close to your body.
Go.
We have also been learning how to pass the ball to an opponent and how to receive the ball in the correct way. If we are not careful, someone could get hurt, so we practice this a lot. Make sure the stick does not go above waist height. Then, when we receive the ball, we must make sure we control the ball before we pass it back again. If not, the ball will go everywhere.
In history, we have been learning all about the Mayflower and the separatists of Gainsborough. These were a very brave group of men and women who over 400 years ago set sail from religious freedom from James I, who was against the people in England having their own opinions and choice of religion. I bet you didn't know that the Thanksgiving celebration would have not occurred if it weren't for these small group of heroes from this very little town. Also, in history, we have been learning all about the ancient Egyptians. We have been looking at life for an ancient Egyptian, whether poor or rich. Some of the gods and goddesses from over 9,000 years ago, some good, some not so good. In one lesson, we looked at the process of mummification. We actually got to mummify our own tomatoes using the techniques from over 9,000 years ago. First, we cleaned the body with hand sanitizer with replacing palm wine. Then we cut the inside. After, we removed the organs and put them on our napkin. Then we cleaned the inside and then we wrapped up all the organs. Then we put the organs back inside the body.
In geography, we've been looking at the different climates and features of North and South America. We've discovered so many interesting facts about both continents. I bet you didn't know a group of brave men sailed across the Atlantic Ocean to get to the east coast of America over 400 years ago. We are discovering the different weather conditions from snowstorms in the Andes to huge heat waves in the equator and hurricane force winds in Cape Horn, or you can get them all at once. The equator is just going along there. The Andes is just up there with all the snow, then Cape Horn's just right there.
In reading, we always look at some new vocabulary that we may not have heard before, or maybe a tricky word that we need to research. After reading a novel for about 10 minutes, we get a quiz to answer 4 questions based around the novel. Whoever reads the best during Perfect Partners gets a trophy and a Deirdre Boy. Our first class novel was called The Goldfish Boy by Lisa Thompson. In a normal lesson, we first answer our quick start questions and then we move on to our independent tasks.
After reading in class, we often discuss something that happens in the text. Sometimes we hot seat when someone in a class becomes a chapter in the book and the rest of the class asks them questions, sometimes through a freeze frame. This is fun because we act out a scene from the book, but we are not allowed to move. Mr. Holland will come around and tell us what he can see. It makes us laugh. Our second class novel was The House of Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson.
So we've done hot seating or freeze frame, and then we'll spend 15 minutes answering questions about something that's happened in the book we've just read. This helps us become really confident readers and understand what the author is talking about. Mr. Holland always challenges us to more, improve on our work further, as he always said, no one has ever done in this classroom. The Goldfish Boy is a book that a boy called Matthew, his brother died when he was born, because of an illness, and every time he goes home he washes his hands 50 times a day because he doesn't die of illness.
In PSHE, we have been learning all about how we need to keep ourselves safe. We have lots of discussions in class about what we think the right thing to do is if we find ourselves in difficult situations. We read lots of situations as a group that people may find themselves in, which is good because we can sometimes relate to them. It will help us in the future to look after ourselves properly. As a school, we use SCARF in PSHE, which stands for Safety, Caring, Achievement, Resilience and Friendship.
We hope you enjoyed our assembly.